This is Sofiya Shreyer. She was born in Ukraine. How old were you when you came to America?
I was 11 years old.
And what was your reason for coming to America?
My mom got married to an American citizen. He was originally from Ukraine, but he has lived here in 20 years, and he was going back and forth between Ukraine and America, and she met him at her friend's house, and they fell in love, and he brought us here.
What did your parents do for work in the Ukraine?
Well, my father in Ukraine, before he moved, he owned a restaurant, and my mom was a dentist. And when my father moved to America, he started out working as a pizza delivery guy for Domino's, and he worked up pretty quickly and soon bought his own Domino's. And then he just became a businessman, and now he does all kinds of property management and healthcare ownership type of things. And my mom, she couldn't be a dentist here because you have to go to medical school all over again when you move to America. So she got her hygienist degree, and she works as a hygienist.
Before you moved to America, what did people tell you America was going to be like? And when you got here, how was it different from what they said?
Well, my family was really excited for me because, America is the land of dreams and opportunity. But people who I wasn't very close to, they were very, bitter and envious towards me because that's a very common mindset in, post-Soviet Russia.
Because of the opportunity that
I was going to get that they don't have. And when I moved here, it was a huge change because everyone is so positive and happy and just filled with hope all the time. And I think that's the main difference that I felt when I moved.
On the topic of opportunity, how did school in Ukraine differ from school in America?
It's literally night and day. In Ukraine and really all post-Soviet countries, schools are extremely strict. It's a very, kind of like a very sad system that we have. You stay with the same class, first grade until 12th grade.
Wow. You
stay with the same people in one class, and you have, since kindergarten and preschool, you sit at your desks, you study your work. There's no drawing or creative projects. There's none of that.
Would you ever consider going back to live there, or would you just go back to visit family? Or
I definitely like visiting there, but I would never live there ever. That would kill me because I consider myself an American, and living in such a sad, morose environment would be awful.
What I know of you now, you're going to UMass Boston with an English major, and you're also pre-med. Are opportunities like that to have a degree in something that you like English and literature or pre-med, is anything like that possible in Ukraine if you wanted it?
It's possible, but I wouldn't be able to survive on it.
How did the corrupt system in Ukraine help shape your morals in the way that you think now?
Well, I think my morals are pretty different from what American morals are because of, not that they're worse, but because I saw so much, as you said, corruption, and there's a lot of disrespect there, and just a lot of awful things happening. I see things in a different light, and I'm more understanding of people who make bad choices, and I'm more forgiving.
What I've noticed from this interview is all of the differences between the cultures and the countries, to be expected. But of all these differences, what is your favorite difference?
Well, I kind of mentioned this in the beginning of the interview, but I love how positive Americans are. I mean, I was always a positive person, even growing up as a kid, and everything is so gloomy and gray there, but I was always different, and people kind of made fun of me for it. But I really like how everyone smiles on the street here and says hello, and there's no awkward. Well, there is awkwardness, but it's way less than there is there. Everyone there is so tense, you know. It's nice how chill people are here. So I found my home.
Did you know any English when you came to America?
I was supposed to, because technically you start learning English in preschool, but you really don't learn any, like at all.
Kind of like taking a foreign language in middle school or something?
No.
No?
No, it's way worse than that.
Okay.
I mean, I knew how to say hi, bye, thank you. That's it.
So what helped you learn when you came here? How did you learn to speak English so well, actually being an English major?
Well, I watched a lot of TV, and I've always been a very passionate reader, so I started rereading books that I've read in Russian in English, like classics that I've always wanted to read in its native language, like, you know, like Mark Twain and books like that. And I picked it up pretty quickly, and now I'm an English major, and people make fun of me for it because I still have an accent. So, yeah.
So, we know that your English is clearly very good. How is your Russian? Do you still speak it often? Do you speak it at home? Or in what scenarios do you still speak it?
Well, I try to keep my Russian fluent. I still read and write in Russian. I try to keep my life pretty balanced, so I still listen to Russian music and watch Russian movies, and we do speak Russian at home, although now that my little sister's learning English, it's kind of tough, but we're trying, and my parents are pretty strict about it. They always yell at me when I start speaking in English, so I'd say it's pretty balanced, even though I used to be able to think in both languages, but now it's starting to be harder for me to think in Russian, but I'm still pretty fluent.
Do you have any regrets moving to America? And if you could go back, how would you change anything?
I definitely don't have any regrets. I feel like if destiny and fate do exist, it was definitely my destiny to move to America, because I never really fit in with those people, and I feel like my home is here. And how would I do anything differently? I wouldn't, because honestly I feel like I came at the perfect time, because I came early enough to learn the culture and have lots of friends, and learn language quickly enough to catch up with my education. But at the same time, I stayed in Ukraine long enough to be part of that culture and understand their morals and their traditions, and to be able to know where I come from, because I really don't want to lose that.
Well, thank you, Sofiya, for sharing your immigrant experience with us. It's very interesting, and I wish you luck with your English major and your pre-med. I hope you get to be a doctor like you said you wanted to.
You're very welcome. It was my pleasure.